Um, Hello, Despina. Thanks for joining.
Hello, hello.
Discord has some funny business with microphone stuff, so if you need any help, let me know. We cannot hear you. There's a nice user settings tab, voice and video, and then input and output devices. It's a bit fiddly.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
Hello.
Hello, Catalina. How are you doing, homie?
I'm good. Eating
You've also been struggling with that bug, huh?
I just had a headache after eating too much spicy food.
I wish that wasn't my problem, man. Goddamn. Actually, you know what? Actually, I'm not jealous. She struggles with the worst migraines, bro. I think I'm okay. I think I'd rather be sick.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Mm, not
Don't
fun.
eat spicy ramen at 2 a.m. Too
It
late at
sounds like the
night.
title. It sounds like the title of like a shit post on YouTube, man. Don't eat spicy food.
At one time, I ate spicy food at 2 a.m.
Oh no, dangerous, bro.
Like, it's the best time to eat because it's the most tasty, but it's not good for your body.
No, no,
You don't have enough.
digestion.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Mo, how you doing, man?
Ooh, camera's coming on. I like it. I'm not the only one.
Hey,
Although you still haven't sorted out your microphone, man. Can't hear you.
yeah, man.
User settings, voice and video. And usually it's like the default device that you set. It's a bit fiddly, I know. Apologies. Maybe next year's ones will be streamed on Twitch so that. But I do like the interaction.
You know, Twitch is banned in Korea, or not banned,
How is it?
not
Like
supported in.
Yes.
it's like heavily
Ben, what?
regulated, right?
No, you basically cannot watch over 360p. They don't have
Oh
any
wow.
servers in Korea.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So you cannot be a Twitch streamer in Korea and make a living off of
But it was a big thing though before though, right? It was.
it. Oh,
It's just. I mean,
Some kind
all
of anti-competitive thing, right?
all the
Because of
best
the
streamers I
regular.
know are Korean. All the best gamers I know in League of Legends were Korean.
the main telecommunication companies here wanted to get more money, so foreign companies had to pay more to be in Korea,
Yeah.
and they're
Ah,
nah, I'm not doing that. And man, everybody was angry.
not nice, man. Hey.
They went back to like the old streaming platforms from before Twitch was here.
Are they owned by those companies, or?
Not sure. Oh, no, no. So there's like the Google of Korea has one, I think, right? Naver has one. For streaming? Naver has streaming? Yeah. If you know Naver.
Hmm. No, man. Don't
Otherwise,
know me.
another one's called Africa TV.
After good.
Not Final
Yeah.
Cut. Not Final Cut.
Mm-mm.
Have we
But
sorted
yeah,
out
if you
our
do stream on.
microphones?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Mm.
gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, bro.
Hello.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to keep the video on or not. I just thought it might be boring just look at.
You can join everyone else, man. I won't be sad, man. It's cool. Damn.
I mean, what's your preference? You're the one who's
I like a good thumbs up from time to time. So
okay.
in case or like a good response. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh,
So
I'll
who?
join you guys next week. I'll be in Netherlands next.
Nice.
I'm occasionally crying a bit, so it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
hoodies.
emotional. I just feel like shit.
It's the same thing, no?
Emotional? Nah, man.
Feeling
I'm not
like shit in
emotional.
the Netherlands.
I mean, I feel like shit, but I'm not emotional, bro. I got no emotions.
Yeah,
Stone
men don't
cold.
have a.
Nah, zero. I just cry
Mhm.
when I go to sleep. That's it.
No, you cry
Yeah, it
yourself
kind
to
of
sleep.
means the same thing.
Of course, man. Sleep like a baby afterwards, bro. A little bit of that emotional diarrhea, bro. That's how we do it.
Oh, God.
Vespina, your mic all right? Give us a little test. I want to introduce you to the rest of the crew, but all we see is a shy little cat.
That's fine.
But that's cool.
And
But
cats
that's
and
cool.
dogs are adorable.
But that's cool. We can hear something.
Oh, they're communicating through Morse, bro.
The
I can hear
cat is.
myself.
Getting there. There is progress. There is progress. I don't know if I can screen share this, but you're probably going to see yourselves a million times. Let me try that.
Sounds pretty dope. Let's do it.
No, I might give a feedback. It's probably going to give feedback. Let's post a screenshot. Should we do a little screenshot? Snipping tool. Mate, this is the best tool that exists on Windows.
100%, bro.
Much better on Mac though, no?
I don't know about that. They're slowly learning, bro.
Right, let's do this. Despina, I'm sharing in the general chat a screenshot.
What you sending us pictures of, bro? Ah, alright.
Your face, your the corner of your face. Me smile and me looking all fucking serial killer style.
Bro, you got options, man.
It's the profile shot, the jawline.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I got loads of options. Right? I got everything connected today.
Ooh.
Bluetooth galore.
Oh my.
My guy's got the Oculus Virtual, the Beats Solo Stereo, them JBL. Oh my god, bro. What
That
is this?
that Oculus one never leaves. I never have it connected, but it never disappears. Don't know why.
Ghost connection.
Options are options, man.
Alright, we'll start by sharing screen. Despina will introduce you next time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Hey.
there we go.
Hello, hello.
Great.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but first session we had a round table introduction. So maybe everyone first quickly just introduce yourselves to Despina, starting from Milo, who's above me here.
Hello, hello. My name is Milo. I do a little bit of Unity projects with AR. I used to do Unreal VR. I know Petros through a friend, and we become fast friends too. Hoping to relearn some of the Unreal that I've forgotten, and flex those muscles. But yeah, nice to meet you, Despina.
Nice to meet you too.
And next up, Kat.
Hello. I am a good friend of Milo, and then through Milo, learned about Petros and the workshop. I'm hoping to become an environment designer, and Unreal Engine is the choice of the industry right now. You gotta relearn it.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Do you
nice to
do
meet
like 3D
Yes.
models and stuff?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm slowly expanding on my Blender work. I'm also starting Gaia, the terrain creator, terrain creator.
Okay. I don't know that.
It's great.
Sick,
I
sick,
think
sick.
there's a photo. If you can see the photo in, I think Sharing is Caring. I made a terrain.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Sick. And me, or AKA Moo.
Yeah, cow. My bromance level with Petros isn't as far as Milo's. I'm hoping it will rank up slowly.
Evolve.
I my background is in architecture. It turns out Petros found our Instagram at some point, and we started connecting from there. And then a couple months ago, we linked up in Limassol, did a little trade show together, and we basically do 3D laser scanning, and Petros has been helping us make that into like a virtual experience, and I would fucking love to for them to do that too. So that's something.
Nice. Very interesting. Nice to meet you.
And last but not least, let's be now give a little short, brief intro.
Hi, I'm Despina. I know Petros from a friend as well, and doing 3D character design. I didn't land a job yet in this area, but I would like to develop a game with a friend. So that's why I would like to join these workshops with you.
Lovely jubbly. Well, I hope we managed to give you the skill sets to accomplish that basic level. But yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
our first sort of third person game towards the end of these workshops, hopefully. So that should give you a good foundation and everything else that comes with it: landscapes, materials, coding, and all the fun bits. All right, so let's dive into it. I will share my screen over here. So feel free to click on watch stream. So it's a nice Unreal Marketplace where we start from there. So we all created a project last week called Hello World, or you might have named it slightly differently. We're going to start by opening that project, and there are two ways to do that. One is through the Epic Games Launcher tab. You have a library section, and in the library section, you have a list of all your projects. I've got a ton. Hopefully, one day you will as well. So one way is through there, or the other way is through the folder itself. If you browse to it wherever you created it, you can double click on the Unreal Engine icon here, the Unreal Engine project file. So we'll start by doing that. We'll open up our previous project. And that should bring us back to the default third person map. Let me know once everyone is back loaded up, level loaded, project loaded.
Yeah, boy.
Thumbs up, like it.
Yep, it's all good.
Cool. Cool. Close this filter so you don't need that. So again, the editors, my editor and your editor might look slightly different. The way you've docked things in your layout, so feel free to customize that. I've gone back to using the default Unreal Engine layout just for good practice sake. So it might look slightly different, but do not worry, as long as you're aware where things are. But if you have any issues, let me know, or you can always jump back to the default layout. Now, we played around a little bit last week with some basic elements, creating our first project. And this week we're going to focus on creating our first materials. Very exciting. Now, I believe when we created our project last week, we enabled a file called starter content. Now, if you could all confirm that you have that available in your Unreal Engine content browser.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
cool.
there.
Yeah.
Sweet as.
Yeah.
So in here, we have, by the way, for future projects, if you forget to include this, because this sometimes can give you some nice kickoff points, let's say, you could go to add, and then at the top, it has add feature or content pack. So let's say we want to create a VR experience in the future. We can add the virtual reality template to this, we can add the vehicle template, or if you go to content, you can add the starter content to your project. So it's a nice way for you to add elements. So just to repeat that, it's in content browser, click on the plus green button, add feature or content pack. And that's just got a few sample projects that we can use in the future if we need them. So yeah, you can play around with that later on. We won't add anything now, but just in case you didn't have this file available, you can add it this way. Sweet. So we're gonna go to the starter content folder in the content browser. In there is a subfolder called maps. We're gonna double click maps, and then we're gonna open up the starter map and double click that. Might bring you this message log with some errors, but feel free to ignore that. So, welcome, Alex. How you doing?
Yo, sup, baby?
Hey, Alex.
We are just catching up on we just launched the previous project, and we went into starter content maps and just loaded up this starter map. If you want to pick up from there, dude.
All right.
Sweet. So here is a lovely little basic map Unreal Engine have created for us. Very kind of them. They do that a lot. And we can see already a number of materials, from wood types to stone types, marble, gold, steel, some visual effects with sound as well, some smoke particles, some fire, some sparks, nice little table, dining table with a idol on it, and nice little lamp on top. Some key bindings we learned last week. So with G, if you press G in your 3D view, you can remove the game icons. We call that like the game mode itself. So we're now initializing a game mode, but if you hit G again on your keyboard, you can visualize all these icons. These will help you navigate in the scene and see where things are, but if you want to just visualize the project, you can disable them by pressing G. Cool. So some of these materials are very simple, some of them are very, very complicated. Now, just for fun, if we want to see what this scene does and have a bit of a play around, on the top taskbar, we have this play feature, this play button. If you hit the 3 dots next to it on the right hand side and select simulate, or as the shortcut has, Alt S. So next to the play button, 3 dots, hit simulate, and wherever you are placed in the camera, you'll see things start to happen. So now it's playing the nice sound, it's playing the particle effects. I don't know if the sound is streaming through to Discord, I think it should be. But yeah, beautiful, nice little ambient elevator music, lounge music, and you can stop that and then simulate that again and see what the particle effects, the particle systems do. So it's quite cool. Feel free to, I know Milo has already broken down this project, he's probably crashed Unreal by now, so feel free to experiment and try to see what these simulations do. But we're going to dive back into content browser, and instead of going on maps, we're going to go into the materials folder. Now in Unreal, in terms of navigating folders, you have the feature on the left hand side, or you have this little sort of browser method just to show you, just for you to keep track where in the folders you are. So keep an eye on that. So we're going to go content, starter content, materials, and in there we have the list of materials we see currently in the environment. Now, just out of curiosity, we're going to double click on, let's say, M basic floor, which is the second one. Second material, M basic floor. Just double click that. Now it should bring up a separate window. You can move that around in the 3D view. I like to dock it sometimes on the taskbar. So if I click and drag like a browser, I can dock it anywhere, almost anywhere. Oops, frozen. Okay, maybe don't dock it anywhere. Let's see, task manager. Okay, there we go, it's gone. It's gone. It's completely gone. Where is it? It's like on the
Real
floor.
quick, did you guys also generate warnings when you started up the map?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Gonna get a few of
Just
those.
ignore.
Okay, there we go. Cool. So no docking. Leave as is for now. So we can see in here, we have a very basic material. Now in the material editor, you can scroll with your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Right click to pan right left and move around, like the 2D views. We've learned that last week. And in here, if we zoom a little bit, we can see the name of the material. It might be a little bit fuzzy through the stream, but you've probably seen the same thing. We have base material, base color, metallic, specular, roughness, anisotropy. I've never used that, so don't ask me. Emissive color, normal, tangents, etc., etc. And some are grayed out, some are available for us to use. Now, why are some grayed out? In the left details panel here, under the material section, we have this material domain and material blend mode and shading model. These three, combination of these three, will determine what is grayed and what isn't grayed out in this material editor. So for example, if I set this to translucent, we can now see that we only have opacity, emissive color, and base color available because that's the only properties it needs. So it kind of helps you out there. But for now, for the simplicity, we're going to stick to opaque and surface. Won't dive too much detail into the terminologies. Translucent is probably materials for mirrors, glass types, and opaque is more for default shading materials. So very basic material. We can close that down. We're happy with that. We had a good understanding of what that is. Now I'm going to scare you a little bit. If it asks you to apply because you've changed some things, feel free to hit no, yes, or cancel. I'm going to hit no. But if you go back to the content browser and let's say we click on Cobblestone Smooth. Now get ready. This is going to be a mind blower. So we zoom out. It doesn't even let me zoom out completely. The complexity behind this material is absolutely insane. And the reason for this is because it gives us this nice, as we can see in the 3D view here on the left hand side, you can see the complexity and the depth that a material can create. Now here on the bottom corner of the 3D view, you've got different shapes. That's the way the material is being visualized. So if you're working with planar materials, let's say if you're applying it to a surface, that's the cube. You can see it visibly on a cube. So if you press the cube primitive, or on a plane as well. So it's just different visualization methods for your materials. So feel free to have a click through those. If I'm going too fast, you do let me know. But yeah, this is just to give you an idea of a comparison between a very simple and a very complex material in Unreal and the scale that we can accomplish. A lot of this stuff is available through Megascans and Quixel, which is great because we can source all this stuff for free for now. New Year's might be a subscription fee, but we'll dive into that later on. So I'll close that material down. We won't dive too much into it. We'll start with creating our own basic material. So back into the content browser, I'll minimize the starter content folder, and in content, I'll create a new folder and call it materials. So right click into the content browser, new folder, click on new folder and call it materials. I already got one here, so I'm gonna remove that. And once we've done that, we'll double click into the folder. Now I'm gonna remove some of the stuff I've created before. So brand new empty folder. In there, we're gonna right click and select material. Now it's nice and easy because it's there, we use it all the time, but you can also find it under material and material. So we'll create that and give it a nice little name. We'll start with a mirror. Let's do a mirror. So call it m_mirror. That's my general naming convention. We use a lot of underscores in Unreal. I think it doesn't like dashes or slashes or other or space at least. So underscore will be your best friend. And M stands for material, so we know what it is if we want to quickly search for it. So we'll double click that and empty blueprint editor, material blueprint editor. So there's some more hotkeys. As much as hotkeys there are in the 3D view, there's a lot of hotkeys as well for the 2D views. So additionally to what we covered last week, in this 2D editor, you can right click anywhere on the graph and search the thing you want. Some features you'll use more often than others, so you'll learn the hotkeys so it can speed up your process. But what I'm going to do is search here 2D. 3 vector. So search, right click in the graph, search 3 vector, one word, and it's gonna show you here constant 3 vector. So click that, and that's a split into X, Y, and Z to give us RGB that forms the color that we're going to use. So the hotkey for that is if you click 3 on your keyboard and click in the graph, it will generate the same for you. So 3 and click in the graph creates a 3 constant vector for you. So a nice little neat hotkey there. So that's for 3D elements. So that is basically our color. So if we click on it, and in the left hand side in the details we have constant, which is black. If we click on the black, we now have the ability to change our color. Now you can use that with accurate values in hex linear or hex sRGB, or you can use your mouse to move around and select it this way, and you can choose between the albedos that you want. So feel free to pick a color for your mirror. Don't be boring, don't use white. Gonna go for pink. Look a good pink. Got Milo smiling right now. Cool, so my pink selected. I've got a nice little preview of that here, and I've got my constant values here. Now, if we go ahead and connect that to the base color, so basically this is our output that's going to be displayed, and these are our pins that we need to connect to one another. So if we click and drag out of the 2D vector and drag and drop it into the base color, we can see now our material has turned to pink. Basic. Now we want to play a little bit with some of these other parameters in here. So how do we create sort of like a mirror effect? In Unreal, we're going to focus on using this metallic output feature. So the same way that we've created this 3 vector, we can now right click in the 2D editor and do 2 vector and hit enter. or as you can imagine, if you hold down 2 on your keyboard and click, now it gives us also the 2 vector. So 3 for 3 vector, 2 for 2 vector, and 1. We'll do 1 in a second. Okay. That's a light.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
I cannot see the XYZ thing on the graph.
On this one here,
Yeah, either for 3 vector or 2 vector. I don't have it.
do you have a little arrow below the? Is there a little drop arrow?
1 second. No. Anyway, I can share it later on. And
Like you can't see the values there?
I know I
what-
cannot see the values as well.
Interesting.
Okay, I will check it later.
Do you
What
wanna-
happens when you hold like 3 and click?
Yeah, I did that as well.
When are you able to select the color from the constant on the left hand side?
I'm changing it, but on my box it doesn't change it. It stays black.
Interesting. Do you wanna? Have you got 2 screens, or are you using one screen, one monitor?
I do. It's 2 screens.
Do you want to share your screen so we can see?
I don't know how to do that, to be honest.
Let's give it a try. I mean, if
Share
everyone's
your
cool,
screen. Okay.
share your screen
Found it.
and then
Second.
click the screen that you want to share.
Yes, this one.
There should be 2 tabs. There should be like apps and screens. So choose screen. Cool. And jump on that. Nice.
Did it?
Yeah, I can see your screen. So if you
yeah.
click on that, yeah,
This one?
and then that one. Does that bring up another window anywhere? When you click
No.
the constant button, does it bring another window?
No.
So in the details panel, where it's black on the left hand side in the details.
Here?
Yeah. When you click that, does it pop up another window? Do you see another window
No.
anywhere?
No.
So you, that's weird. Looks like
What
the window's
what
not
Unreal
displayed.
version are you on? Does
Sorry?
it say what Unreal version are you on? Is it 5.3?
It's 5, I think.
What are the? Let me see. I wonder if it says.
She's not getting the. It's not this color picker window is not popping up. It's maybe popping
Yeah.
up somewhere else behind the monitor or something. Close the material. Okay, so you just shared the material. That's why. If you stop sharing your screen, Despina, for 1 second, and
Yeah.
share it again, but this time when you go to share screen, share your whole screen, not just the Unreal window. Does that make sense?
Think so. I will try. Okay. Now?
Yeah, perfect. And now go to your content browser. Which is the bottom left hand corner. Yeah, and double click that material again, the mirror. Did that bring it up on another window? Okay, let's
No.
share the screen.
This is-
Okay, yes.
Anyway, I can Google it later maybe, so I will not waste our time.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically that material color picker is not popping up for some reason. But
Yeah.
we won't need it in the next material that the next 2 materials that we're going to create. So you feel free to skip that for now.
Okay.
But we can pick this up later on. Okay, cool. So I'll remove all these. We left off with a 2 vector. That's just to give you an idea. We don't need that. We're going to delete that as well. But we're going to click 1 and click on the 2D graph, and that will create as just a constant variable. So if we also searched vector, I think vector, constant vector, that will give us that. Yeah, constant. So we can also duplicate this. Control D. If you click it and hit Control D, we can duplicate this and create a second one. Or you can also, again, hold your keyboard down and press 1, and that will create it for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to click and drag out of the first one into metallic, and click and drag out of the second one and go into roughness. So we have 0 value for metallic and 0 value for the roughness. Now, if we change that from, if we change the metallic value from 0 to 1, we can now see that we have a fully metallic chrome ball. So there's 0 roughness applied to it as well. If we change the roughness to, let's say, like 0.5, you can start to see we lose a little bit of that reflection from the metallic surface. So you can imagine, as you increase the roughness, you get less metallic. As you decrease it, you get more metallic. So we'll just leave that for now at the value of 0 to create some nice little mirror effect. Nice little pink mirror. So we can save that from the top left hand corner, or Control S. Top left hand corner, and we're gonna close that down, or put it, if you docked it on top, just leave it to the side. Now in the level, we've got this little, next to the fire pit, we've got this nice glassy type wall, I guess partition wall. And what we're going to do is, there are multiple ways we can apply the material to the object. One is, once you click on the glass itself, in the details on the right hand side, you have an element 0, which is, it says here glass. You can then click on that and just search mirror and apply it that way. Or you can go into the content browser, click your material and drag and drop it onto the object itself and let go, and that will apply it. Or there's a third way, which let's not get too complicated. So let me know if you're all on the same page there. All good, viewers. We got our first mirror in the scene. We can look at the reflections of the balls in the background. Looks a bit glitchy, but good starting point. All good here? Yeah, got thumbs. Got thumbs. I like thumbs. Cool. And I guess just for practice, if we now go back to the material in the content browser, double click it, and if you actually minimize it a little bit so you can see what's going on, so click and drag from the windowed version itself and put it to the side a little bit. And if we then, change one of these values from 0, get back again to 0.5, and hit apply on the material, so the roughness value to 0.5, hit apply, and we can see it now applied real time into the editor. Set that back to 0 and hit apply and save. If you want the final version, just hit save. Cool. So that's a simple way to create a mirror effect. Now it looks a bit glitchy, like I said, but that's how it gets fixed with the global illumination settings, which we're going to look at a much later stage. So we can leave that there for now. It's double-sided because of the mesh, so we can see a little bit the reflections on the inside, and get some nice light splashes as well. Pretty cool, funky mirror, I'd say. Cool. So let's go ahead and create a second material. Should I do a textured version? You want to do a textured version on with the texture?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. In the general chat, I am putting a texture. Feel free to quickly download that, and it should look something like this. Nice little. Don't know why I chose this texture. Don't ask me. It was cool. So I download it, but actually no. I like there is a reason, because there's a nice light splash right here in the middle, and it's darker on the edges, and that's going to give us a good indication of the UV mapping on the cube. So let me know once you've downloaded that image. Let me know if you're all good with that. We can drop it.
Yep, it's all good.
Groovy. So usually I'll create a new folder called textures, but I'm a bit lazy. Don't follow in my footsteps. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to dock this content browser in my layout. So if I go to content browser and hit on the right hand side dock in layout, that's going to keep it there permanently 24/7. And what I'm going to do is go to where I've downloaded that file. Where is it? So it's on my desktop. Judge my desktop. Dark Cube Textures, and I'm going to drag that from my files folder content browser right into content browser and let go. And that's going to import the texture straight away. So just to reiterate that, drag and drop from your Windows Explorer right into the content browser folder.
Is there a shortcut for opening the the materials folder in Windows Finder? You know what I mean?
So finding this
Opening
in your
this folder in Explorer,
yeah.
right?
Well, if you right click on the folder itself, you got show in Explorer.
Oh, there.
There.
All right. Excellent. Thank you.
And that should bring up where that your asset is. But just to reiterate, anything you create in there is like it's called a U asset. But you can also, I think if we save this now, we should see that texture appear there as a U asset. So that's just where everything is stored from our current project. So we've got our texture in there. We can double click it in Unreal. That will bring us another window with some properties about the texture itself. Slightly more advanced. I won't get into it, but you can play around with the brightness, the saturation, vibrance, do some image editing on top of it if you're not happy with the final result. So I'm going to close that down. We're happy with that. What I'm going to do is right click on the texture and hit create material. Just a little shortcut there. So right click on the texture, create material, and call that m_cubes and fire that up. So straight away that's created a material for us with a texture sample with our cube texture. So if I click on the texture sample, we can see here in the details panel we have our texture right there. So we can change it here if we need to in the future. And now if I just bring that to the side a little bit and back into my 3D editor, let's say, let's pick this one underneath the fire pit. We can click on this mesh and from the content browser, drag and drop the material onto it. Or you can do it the previous way by applying it through the materials element here in the details panel itself. So now as we've applied that there, we can see that it's slightly tiled. So the resolution of as we see it here in the 2D view, it's one image. But if we see it here in the 3D view, across this mesh, this cube, it's tiled it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So it's not the accurate representation of the texture. It's not the right coordinates. So what we can do to fix something like that is we can play around with the textures UVs. Now I won't go dive too much into the detail of it, but you can imagine a texture like the 2 and 3 constants we just did. It's got an X and a Y coordinate, being the width and the height of the texture's resolution. So what we're going to do in Unreal here is manipulate that resolution so that it can fit nicely on the square. Typically the other way you would do that is to scale the cube to the resolution of the texture, but we can do it in reverse as well. So that way we'll minimize having hundreds of cubes in the scene with the texture replicated. So if I right click again on the material graph and search coordinate, so COORD, always make the same mistake searching COORD and I could never find it, so search coordinate, and we're looking for this texture coordinate and click on it. We don't have a shortcut for that, but you can set that up in the editor if you want. Espinal, you good with this one? Is this one available to you, these features?
Sorry. That's the same
Same stuff?
as the last one. Yeah.
Okay, we have to have a look at your Unreal Engine project, but cool.
Yeah.
We can do that. We can do that after this.
All right.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Cool. So we're all at this stage now. If I if I expand this texture coordinate system with this arrow below, we get values for the U and the V, which is essentially X and Y. So if I connect that to the UVs, so the output of texture coordinate into the input of UV's texture sample, nothing's changed in the editor, we won't see it. And just to be more visible, let's turn this into a plane. Yeah, let's turn that into a plane. Better. What does the cube do? Yeah, same thing. So now, in real time, we can see our 3D mesh here, so I like to keep them side by side to compare. If I drop this UV tiling down to 0.25, so a quarter, and also do the same for the V as well, so evenly distribute them, you can see that that's zoomed into the texture a little bit for us. And once I hit apply, we can see now our 3D mesh is refreshed, and we can see now we have a better tiling of the overall material on this specific cube itself. Now it's still not exactly the measurements, so if you do some math calculations with the texture size, you can get this to be exactly bang on to the cube size with its scaling. But just for reference, you can adjust this. You can even create uneven tiling surfaces just for the fun of it. So if I give this U tiling back to 1 and keep the V tiling back to 0.25, we could see created this sort of squashed effect to my texture. And vice versa, you can explode it. If we put the V to 5, they're now completely, and hit apply. See, that's just replicated it 5 times across the V axis. So that's just a neat way to play around with the materials coordinate systems. Now I'm teaching you sort of very basic way to change and apply these materials. Once we get more and more into the workshops, I'll introduce ways that we can change these materials in a much more fast and real time way using material instances. Cool. And then the same as the previous texture, it looks a bit, if we zoom into it a little bit, when the sun shines on it, it looks a bit glossy. We can create, that camera shortcut. We can create a constant vector in here, so 1 on your keyboard, and apply that to maybe something like the roughness. And now we can see, we're starting to play a little bit more with the texture. Now we're creating it. It's more like a glossy, reflective effect to it. And if the same wise, if we send that to 1 and hit apply, it's originally going back to what it was before. Meatloaf. Jump.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
say
sorry.
a good combination that I found was 1.25 and 2. I think that's pretty square, all things considered. For the
1
UV.
for the UV, yeah. Let's
So
see.
1.25 and 2.
5 and 2. See, is that enough? Is that enough? 1.25 and 2.
It's like tiny bathroom tiles.
Tiny bathroom tiles. The thing is with these, we'll see that more apparent when we start working with like large scale landscapes. But we'll start create some randomness in these patterns, because if I start to move out, you can start to see just these patches. You can't really tell what the material is, only when you zoom in closely. So we play with that, with those factors later on down the line.
Yeah, it just starts looking like black and white dots, man.
Yeah. With large scale landscapes, you can imagine it's going to be quite funny looking, especially with the grass materials and stuff. Groovy. So I was going to show emissives, but we can touch on emissive because that's also a bit of fusion between lighting as well. But here we've got two basic materials, and we've shown a way that we can manipulate some of the values of the output of this material and apply it onto certain elements into our scene, and different ways of doing that. I would highly recommend sort of diving deeper, not into the very complex materials, but some more basic ones. Definitely, I mean, yeah, have a look at the water one. It's pretty cool. We'll use that in the landscape workshop two, or the next one, or the next one after that, plus the lake. But these are some pretty cool material effects, especially this emissive style stuff that we can do. You can see now it starts to change color with material functions. So materials in Unreal will be your best friend. You will do number of things, even to do with lights. Like if you want to create flickering light effects and stuff like that, it's all done using materials, and a lot of these particle effects as well. Let's show. We got 5 minutes. Should we show emissive lights? Should we do emissive lights? Are you all cool with these two materials?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice
Yeah.
one.
It's good.
Okay, so I guess just for simplicity, we can duplicate one of our materials, so we don't have to right click and create one. So just click on the material and hit Control D, and then rename it _emissive. _emissive, and enter to fire that up. I'll make that a little bit bigger. We can keep the same variables in here. The only thing we're going to change is, so sometimes these details will appear and disappear depending on what you're clicking on in the 2D layout. So if I click on the 3 vector here, it's going to give me details for the 3 vector only. If I click on the content parameter, it's going to give me details for the content parameters. If I click on the graph, anywhere in the graph, it's going to give me back the default parameters for this output material. So just bear that in mind. Some of these details may not be available as you click and maneuver around the 2D editor. Emissive. So how we do emissive materials? Obviously, we have this lovely, beautiful feature here called emissive color, which is great. Straight off the bat, we can create a very basic, cool emissive material. So what I'm going to do is, if you hold down, probably one thing I should have covered earlier, if you hold down Alt on your keyboard and click on one of the pins, it disconnects it. So Alt and click on the pin, either in the input or the output, it disconnects it. Same way you can do that by right clicking on the pin and click and break this link. But just Alt and left click is a nice quick way to break it. So we're going to break all these pins here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use one of these parameters we created earlier. Just drag it a little bit No, keep it there where it is. It's cool. And what we're gonna do is on our keyboard, we're gonna hit M and click in the 2D view. M and click in 2D view. That's gonna give us a multiply feature. So the same way we can do it with right click, search, multiply, and we can click on the math parameter feature here, multiply, or we can hit M and left click, and that should give us a nice little shortcut. And what that's going to do is basically we're going to multiply our base color with our parameter. So out of the white pin for the base color, drag and drop that into A, and out of the constant pin, drag and drop that into B. So we're now multiplying that by this, and we're gonna connect the out of the multiply into the emissive color, just like that. It's gonna give us this pretty much similar effect to what we're looking at earlier. But if we change this one value to something like 100, can you imagine what that's gonna do? Boom! Explosion of light. So basically now what we're saying is we're multiplying the pink by the value of 100, and that's going to give us our emissive color output.
Yo, Petros, I remember with Unreal 4, like I think whenever you were making materials, you could put like let's say for example, a constant one. You could name it or something, and you could edit it in the editor instead of needing to go into the material editor for like I think material instances and stuff. Is that still there? I don't know how to do that.
That is still there. That's a little bit more advanced, but I'll show you
Okay.
at another period.
Yeah, no worries, homie. Cheers.
We'll stick to the basic materials for that, but it is very, very useful to do that for quick pace. So yeah, feel free to play with that value. You can go to 200, you can go to 1000, explode it. But how are we going to visualize this? If we go back to our 3D view and let's say apply this on, where should we apply this? Let's apply it to one of these spheres. Let's say this ceramic tiles. Click and apply. It's not changed anything because it's got that little icon here says we need to save. So if I save that, it's now going to update. So click and drag onto any sphere in the scene, and that's going to give us this nice little light ball. Now the beauty of that, so if you click it and maneuver the XY coordinates, you can, let's say, move that into the room a little bit, and you can start to see how this light affects the room and how it's lit, which is pretty fucking cool. Not only does it affect the room itself, but the scale of the sphere will determine how much light is being emitted. So if I'll close the material down and I'll go to my scaling and I'll click this locked feature so I can change all my values at the same time. So into the scale of the sphere, if I change that to like 0.1 for all, you can now start to see that light completely dimmed. So now if I change that to something like 0.5, you can start to see it's affecting the surrounding area. And then if I change that to something like 2, it's loud. Explosion. So that you can experiment with quite a bit. It's quite cool, and we'll use these a lot with Unreal Engine 5 because it's a nice way to cheat lighting but save performance on performance as well. So what we can do is hide this sphere. When we play the game, we can hide the sphere. It's not visible, but it's still emitting light as a source, which is pretty cool. So if you're doing like dungeon stuff or alleyways, flickering lights and cool neon things and billboards, this stuff is quite useful. So same way with the scaling, you can also play around with the emissive amount that I've applied here. So that 200, you can decrease it down to 50, let's say, and hit apply, and you can see now that starts to affect the room a little bit. Cool. Any questions with that one? Bang on 7 o'clock. Damn, couldn't be better. questions, answers, feedback?
No, man, that was dope. Appreciate it, man.
Quick and simple. Quick and simple. For you, Milo, if you right click, create material instance, that creates an instance of that material. So you have your master and your baby. Then in the baby, you've got the features here on the details panel. So if you go back to the master material,
Yeah.
if you go back to your master material and you right click on the parameter, on the constant, convert to parameter, give that like emissive amount, and then if you save, you've now got that emissive amount available here to play with. So sorry guys, that was very quick, bit advanced. That was for Milo. He's always a step ahead. He always wants to do more. It's exciting.
Hell yeah.
Cool beans. Cool beans. Despin, I don't know what your schedule is like. I'm happy to stay on and help you troubleshoot some of that stuff if you want, and if anyone else wants to stay as well, do that.
I'm free.
Cool. Do you wanna do that then?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet. Everyone else, feel free to bugger off or stick around and see how we troubleshoot some things in Unreal. But feel free to go and explore more materials in the environment, break them, fix them again, see how they work. And last but not least, I will share a link to this page here. So it's slightly for so some stuff we covered here: constant 2 vector, 3 vector. It's just explaining what these things do in the Unreal Engine material blueprints, and there's obviously a huge list of things that you can explore, such as mathematic features, calculations, parameters, create particle systems, etc. So this is terrains for UCAT. It's right here. So this will be a nice way just to give you a better understanding of what this stuff does behind the scenes and how you can play around with it in Unreal. So it's very, very descriptive documentation. So inspect away. I'll put that into the sharing is caring link for everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, 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 cheers.
Wow.
Wow. Ooh, baragalo. I'm gonna stop the stream here for today. So everyone say bye to the stream, but feel free to stick around.
See you guys.